Hey guys, so this is Robin from Circle Healing Network, and I'm back today to do a Mandela Effect video. Now, taking my glasses off for a minute because I still haven't figured out how not to have the glare. So anyway, yeah, but this is going to be quick. I'm not going to take a long time, although I have a few things that I do want to share with you guys, some new Mandela effects that I've come across that I haven't heard out there. And that's the only ones I really decided I was going to do any on if I came back and did any, because it's been a couple months since I've done this. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But I feel there's a lot of people really doing a very good job of covering this whole phenomenon who seems to be able to be more resilient to each new discovery than I have been, because this thing really got bad. Like a couple months ago, it was like, whoa, this is just way too much going on for me with regards to this Mandela effect. And I think what was going on too is that you feel like it's hard to get back to your regular world, like your regular life, you know, because everything you look at, you start seeing the Mandela effect. And then you're asking yourself, well, why? What's going on? Why is this happening? What does it mean? You know, will life change? You know, when is it going to change? You know, am I going to jump dimensions again? I mean, you know, and it's just really overwhelming. And I found myself really beginning to become emotionally overwhelmed, as well as it's just sort of difficult to just, have you guys know what I'm saying here? Like, I'm sure you've experienced this. If you're looking at this video and you're following me, I know you've gone through these same things. So I kind of, like with the holidays and everything, went down this rabbit hole and just turned a blind eye to everything and just decided I wasn't going to even look at Mandela Effect videos. And when I noticed the Mandela Effect myself, I just decided I was not going to see it. Like, okay. And that was fine for a while, but typical to my personality, I just cannot keep my head in the sand. You know, I'm just not an ostrich. I just can't. And it was like starting to bug me again. It was just like so many different things I was seeing. And I'm wondering if you guys were seeing the same stuff and how you all were doing out there. And, you know, I wasn't even watching my channel to see what the comments were or what people were saying. And I do try to keep up with that. And so I wanted to just first apologize. I wasn't ignoring you, or your comments do mean something to me because they help me as well. You know, it helps me to say, okay, wow, they're having the same experiences I'm having. So you don't feel like you're in it alone, because like most of us, even the people who are closest to you in your family that you share it with, they still don't get it. Like, how many of us really have people that we're close to who say, yeah, I understand and I see it, but they were doing the same thing I think I was doing the last couple months, just trying to like turn a blind eye to it and like, let's just get through life here, you know? So anyway, but okay, I just couldn't take it any longer, because I was doing some research a couple of days ago and I came across one that just was so compelling, and and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go up on my life. And it's been bugging me. And I think until I share it with you guys, I am just not going to be right here. And so then last night I spent some time going on and looking at other people's Mandela effects, and a couple of people have done some really good compilations. And the ones I want to share with you, I haven't seen. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go on and share them anyway, and it'll help to get them off of my chest as well. So that having been said, also, I have some other Mandela effects that I've shared before, and I will probably do a video on them, especially if you guys decide that you want one. Then I think I'll do this format where I'll do a Google Hangout, because then I can do a screen share and show you that way. That's probably the easiest way than me doing a bunch of editing and all that stuff, because I really am not up for all the editing and trying to add stuff in and all that. So, but back in October, I spent a month in Italy, and I was doing some archaeological expeditions and stuff over there. And actually, I'm going to put them up on this channel, because it was some really interesting stuff that come out of that with regards to the timeline and things like that. And I had some other pretty interesting things that happened. But anyway, so I took the opportunity to go to Rome and go and visit Michelangelo's Moses. Well, in fact, I honestly believe that that statue has definitely changed. And the person that I went to visit this sculpture with is a resident of Rome and frequents the galleries, but hadn't been to Moses in a while. So she comes along with me and she was like, whoa. I mean, it just hit her like strong, like, what is up with these horns? To the point she even pulled out her phone and read up on what Wikipedia or whatever was saying about the sculpture and what they described with the horns. Okay, so we've done that. But I took some other pictures of things that have changed in that church. And these things I think people would agree with me are they're classic Mandela stuff that's changed. So right in the vicinity of Michelangelo's Moses. So I think, let me know if you guys want me to share that one, and I'll sit down and put that one together because it's really pretty interesting. Okay, so why am I here today? So I was doing, let me also say this. I think I've said this before, but let me just say, my first degree is in graphic design and photography. That's what I initially went to school for. I've always been interested in the arts. I've always been an artist. So I thought if I'm getting a degree, I might as well get it in some art, right? So I've studied typography. I've studied typeface and fonts. In graphic design school, you also create a font. That's a part of your, your 4-year studies where you create a font and it has to have a particular intention behind it. And that intention has to support, the font has to support your intention and what you're trying to communicate. And there's a whole long thing on this, and you're graded, and there's a lot to this particular technology. So I speak from that background. I speak from a graphic design background with this one I'm going to share with you. So I've studied this one in school as well. It's iconic. And those of you who have a similar background who remember the Mandela Effect, or who are experiencing the Mandela Effect like I am, will most probably agree with me almost immediately on this one. And then I have a few other ones that are in the arts because my second degree was anthropology and art history. So I have a tendency to go to those areas when I'm checking myself on the Mandela Effect, because those I really know, like with my eyes closed, I can close my eyes and see these things and know what they look like. Okay. So the first one, I'm getting ready to do a screen share. So let me put these glasses back on. Sorry for the glare. Let me get the screen share up. And, I'm never really good at this screen share business, but let me try this one. And just work with me and tolerate this whole process. So we don't want that. Let me stop it. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Okay, let's try this. I don't do it enough, so I never really know which one to hit. Okay, let's see if this one does it. Okay, this scrolls around pretty good. All right. Okay. Let's hit this baby right here. The love sculpture. I hope you all can see my cursor moving around here. Okay. This, L-O-V-E. I know you guys, everyone has seen this. I mean, very few people have not seen this. This is iconic, correct? Okay. Can you tell what's wrong with it? Okay. The O. This O is not right. The O is going, it's going from top left to bottom, to top right to bottom left, right? When you face it. It's slanted. It's supposed to be slant. We see that part of it, but it didn't slant this way. It slanted this way. It slanted from right to bottom left. Now, if we were to analyze this love, doesn't it look like the L's got its foot kicking it off? Oh, I'm sorry. Kicking it off. It looks like it's kicking the O away. Like, get out of here, leave, scram, vamoose, no commitment, no No warm and fuzzies. No lean on me. Get away. I'm not committed. I mean, this typeface is saying all of that. That's not what the love was. But if you can close your eyes and see it slanted the opposite way, the way it was in the reality that I'm familiar with it in, then it looks like the O is resting on the L. It's leaning on the L. Come lean on me. What's that song that goes, lean on me? I can't think of the words of it. But yeah, it's lean on me. We're all a family. All the letters are in union. We work together. LOVE, together we make love. Doesn't that make even more sense for it to be leaning, not the O to be like rolling so it leans on the L, not the L like kicking it off? This is ridiculous. This is not how I remember the love sculpture. And this is a sculpture. You see people sitting on it. This is in New York City. This is a physical sculpture. Unless somebody in the middle of the night moved this sculpture and put a new one in, which I guess could have happened, this is not the way it was. And I say that because I think some of these words and things that have changed, anything that's like a picture or language and things, I kind of think, you could go on a computer, a master computer, and change that stuff, couldn't you? I mean, it could still be the Mandela effect. I'm not saying it's not, but you could sort of logically also say, well, it could have been changed and it's really not a real thing that's happened. We are remembering it correctly. And I mean, I go back and forth on all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one. So this is an organization called Oasis. And it's little by little, she is love. Okay, so this is Oasis. Now see how the O was going? Yeah, that's how the O was going in love. This way. And this is an older organization that took this typeface because see, this O is no longer just an O, like a font. It becomes an image because that image translates to people something. So when you look at Oasis, you immediately think love, even though on the little byline it says little by little, she is love. So it says it there. But immediately when you look at it, you think love because of this O that went this way on the love sculpture. Am I making sense to you guys? And so it's like I heart New York. Whenever you see I heart something, I heart Boston, I heart tennis, you immediately get it because that heart is so iconic because it goes with I love New York. So when you see that heart, it's been reused a lot and we immediately know that it's referencing to I love New York, right? So this O, when it was used, it immediately referenced the love sculpture. So I'm gonna show you here in Andy Warhol. Now we know this, his iconic soup cans, right? It started off with tomato soup. So see here, soup, see the O? See the O? It's the love O. It's the same O. This all came from the pop art era. This was like 70s and 80s pop art stuff. And so he used that same iconic O. It was just an iconic O to use. And it's going the right way. You see, it's going the right way. So my case is that this sculpture is not right. It just ain't right. This is not correct. So anyhow, I'd like to get you guys' feedback on that. Weigh in on it and tell me what you think, how you remember it. And even if you look at it here, it really looks that looks retarded. That doesn't even look like that really. That does not look like the love sign. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And remember, it was even done as a stamp, and I found the stamp up here, and the stamp is wrong. Like, look at it visually. That just does not look right at all. And when I close my eyes, I immediately see it the right way. Okay, on to another thing while we're at it. So I just kind of stumbled across some things. I was looking up some stuff, and look at the signature of Picasso. Picasso did not sign his stuff like that. It was more, I mean, this is his S, He did have kind of like a little dotty thing like this, but this in the middle here, first of all, his P was different. But in the middle, the A and the C, SO, it was a little bit more distinctive. It looked something like this, but it was more distinguishable as Picasso. Like if you didn't know who this was and you looked at this, you wouldn't get Picasso out of it. Now, I know a lot of artists, I myself, I don't sign my things the way my name is. It's a little bit more, looks more like an image, and his was like that. But this, in this area right here, it was way more distinguishable as Picasso. And this P was definitely different. So I wanted to throw that out to you, people, you art historians and art historians and people who are familiar with Picasso's work, weigh in on that one. And the last one I wanted to show you was Gertrude Stein. I was looking at Gertrude Stein because I was looking at Picasso. I was looking at Gertrude Stein for some other reason, and that's what took me to Picasso. But you remember, she was known for a very famous saying, and maybe people don't even know. Let me see if I can find it. I thought it was right in here. A lot of people don't even know that she was attributed to this particular saying, but she was a writer. She was a feminist, a writer, and shoot, I thought I could find it here. I'm sorry. I thought I had it up. But anyway, she was known for saying, oh, here it is. A rose is a rose is a rose. This was, she had done some poetry, and this particular poetry, it's a whole poem, and in it, it was a rose is a rose is a rose. And it's well quoted, but now it's a rose is a rose is a rose is a rose. It was only 3 times. A rose is a rose is a rose. Do you all remember that as well? Okay, but no, now it is. I'm gonna stop this now. Hopefully you guys saw that. Okay, so a rose is a rose is a rose. Is a rose? Help me with this, because I've used that quote before in some of my writing to refer, I mean, you know, years ago, I remember doing some work, and I kind of was working around some of those concepts, and I remember writing a paper about this, and it was a rose is a rose is a rose, not and is a rose, 4 times. So anyway, those were a few that I came across that just hit me. And I'm telling you, it seems like more and more now, it's like this dimension or something is coming in so clearly that I can't, like I could pick up anything. I could pick up any book and look at it for a few minutes. I'm gonna find a Mandela effect. They're just like, it seems like they're everywhere. It's almost like you're inundated to the point that you lose your sensitivity for seeing them, because it's like they're everywhere. And it's not like, it seems like if I just put myself on kind of like just, oh, you know, whatever, I don't see them. But the minute I focus in, like to my awareness, they're like everywhere. And it's funny because one of this chap that's a British guy, I think his is addicted to Mandela addicted or Mandela affected. I think that's the name of his YouTube thing. But he does really good compilations. But he did one I came across when I was looking last night. He did Rod Serling, you know, the Twilight Zone. So now it's not Rod Serling any longer with a T. It's Serling, S-E-R-L-I-N-G. Now, we know it was Sterling, Rod Serling. Everybody said Sterling. Nobody said Serling. How do you even say Serling? Rod Serling? I mean, this is retarded. It was Sterling. Okay, but nowhere, if you go Google it, nowhere you're going to find Sterling. It doesn't exist. On all the old stuff, I don't care where you look, it's not Sterling. Now, what's interesting is that I remember every, this past New Year's Day, every New Year's they do the Twilight Zone marathons. Every year it's a marathon. All day long you can look at Twilight Zone. And being a big Twilight Zone lover, when I was growing up, I always looked at the reruns. I always looked at Twilight Zone to the point it's almost like iconic. You know, I could like repeat what they're going to say. So every year I look at the Twilight Zone. Well, this year I looked at Twilight Zone like I always do. And me and my guy, we were sitting there looking at it because we always look at it, you know, and we just big Twilight Zone lovers. And we were sitting there looking at it, and what was really interesting, we kept on laughing about how jacked up his teeth were. We're like, wow, his teeth were really messed up. Ha ha ha, you know, the actors didn't really get on with dentists and everything back in the day, you know. And his mouth, he always kind of talked out the side of his mouth, but he really was talking out the side of his mouth. And every time it came on, he talked, we were laughing like, wow, his teeth are really messed up. Like, wow, it's funny, we never really noticed how messed up his teeth are, you know. But anyhow, we just kind of, you know, just whatever. So then last night when I came across this chap's video, I think it's Mandela Effect is his name of his channel. And he said, Rod Serling. I said, oh my goodness. That's why he looks so much different. Like he looks like himself, but not. He looks more just a little bit more like wicked or something like that. It just didn't look like him. And then that's what made I thought, okay, wow, there has definitely been a dimension jump, because I was responding, and I mean, this is I mean, I've looked at 30 years. I've been looking at the Twilight Zone. Are you kidding me? I mean, I would know what this man's mouth looks like. It would no way I'd be having this reaction like, like, you know, and both of us were having this reaction. So I wanted to throw that in there because, you know, I know we're all doing that, and we're not necessarily always connecting it back to Mandela Effect, because you would just almost lose your mind if everything, because just about everything is like that. So anyway, I just wanted to do that. I'm not going to be much longer than this, because I could just go on and on, because it's just so many things in my own life. Like I'll probably do a video on this too, where I literally took a panel on my phone, and on the east, there was the moon full dead up in the sky. Like it might've been like about 5:30 in the evening. Big white, huge full moon high in the sky. And on this panel, I could take it and go all the way around. And when you get to this side, the sun, the sun full in the sky, rays, everything. Now, maybe you guys remember it, but I do not remember in the entirety of my life standing in one spot and looking to the left, and there's a full moon with the sky going twilight on this side. And on this side, it's still blue, yellow, you know, rays with salmon colored clouds and stuff. I'll put it up because it was just like crazy. So I'm thinking, wherever the heck we are, it's definitely way different than in any other place that I remember. Okay, so anyway, comment below. Let me know how these affect you. Let me know if you want me to do the Moses' video, because everybody kind of like bah humbug the Moses thing. And but when I did it on it, a lot of you agreed with me that it definitely had changed for you too. And the people who said that were people that were in the arts, and you guys established your credibility in my eyes. There were people who said I was crazy. Moses always had horns. And we know that we get that because Moses has always had horns. Here, I went and visited the sculpture, and it definitely does have horns. But it did not have horns from where I came from. And I visited that sculpture before, years ago, and it didn't have the horns. So anyway, much love to you guys. Peace out. And thank you for your input and watching the video, just being around for me. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.